John Venezia with RotoWire. We're talking 5 bets against the spread that you need to be making in week 2. First up, let's go with the Tennessee Titans +6 at home to the LA Rams. Now, guys, keep in mind, it's always important to shop around for the best of the number. So we're giving this to you early in the week, and obviously there's going to be some movement throughout the week, but make sure you're shopping around on all the books. Tennessee had a very, very interesting game in Denver in week 1. Their defense was phenomenal, creating turnovers, wreaking havoc, sacking Bo Nix, and ultimately giving the Titans a shot to win the game. Cam Ward was honestly pretty good in his debut, and arguably the toughest place to play in the NFL, on the road, week 1 in your debut. Cam Ward showed up. His stat line won't reflect it. The Titans dropped several passes that could have changed the game, and you're not going to be going against a defense of Denver's caliber every week. I think Cam Ward did a lot of great things. I still believe in the Titans this year, and even with the narrow loss, I feel like coming back home for your home debut against the Rams, who, to be fair, didn't look that impressive. Now, granted, the Rams are going against a tough Houston defense in their own right. Puka looked really good. Kyron was inefficient, as I predicted. Stafford was okay, but really, Texans could have won that game. There was a couple fluky fumbles. Fumbles are fluky in general, that the Rams barely held on at home. But I like Tennessee here. I think their defense is going to be able to do a lot of what the Texans did. I'm expecting Tennessee's defense to make that jump this year, and I think they could do a lot of the similar things the Texans did to the Rams and only held them to 14 points. And I feel like Cam Ward's going to let it loose this week. Ultimately, he played a lot better than what is going to look like in the box score, and I think that's going to carry over in week 2. Next, let's go with the Chicago Bears +6. Short week. I understand that a lot of people are, hesitant on the Bears. I wrote up the Vikings -2.5 in my RotoWire article for Monday night. For that reason, I felt like everybody was jumping the gun on the Bears. And to be honest, this isn't even necessarily a revenge spot for Ben Johnson against Detroit. That's not really why I'm looking at this. But ultimately, I think a lot of people are believing like, hey, Detroit, let's throw the Lions are 10-0 against the spread off a loss under Dan Campbell the last couple of years. Let's put that out there. No, that's not why. The Ben Johnson revenge angle is not why. I still think the Lions are going to take a little while in order to adjust in life after Ben Johnson. We saw the Green Bay struggles in the game in week 1. That's exactly why I went with the Packers there. And I don't think after 1 week it's going to be fixed. I think Chicago is going to play a lot better. I think it's a whole process going on with the Bears right now. But I think they're going to be able to cover this number. And by the way, you're not going to find this anywhere else, but in a lot of spots, this is a Royal Mint spot. The Royal Mint is something that I brought to national attention and media. That is when a road dog closes at exactly 5 or 5.5 points. You go back 3, 5, 7, 10 years. This number is 60% plus cashing, and these dogs are hitting the money line in over 40% of them. This is a Royal Mint and not the U.S. printing press, because it's like printing money. If you enjoy these videos, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button right now. RotoWire is going to give you 15% off of any product on rotowire.com. This, of course, includes our fantasy football rankings. Our prop picker tool is brand new behemoth my team at RotoWire instituted for fantasy and betting. Gives you all the projection props, all this against the spreads, and it gives you every number on one location. This thing is a monster. Make sure you're using it for your football season this year. And of course, for fantasy, you're going to get access to our experts for those tough Sunday morning start-sit decisions. Use code YouTube15 at checkout. We're back here. Let's get a little redemption for Seattle. Seattle let us down. I was on the Seahawks. I thought they were going to win. They had ample opportunities. They let the 49ers hang around. They played a little scared, didn't go for the kill shot. Not really a fan of that, but I think they're going to make amends here in week 2. Ultimately, against Pittsburgh, I feel like the Steelers are in for a regression spot. Even coming home, Rodgers looked vintage. The defense didn't play that well, but the offense was awesome, scoring a 30 bean against the Jets. I think that regression is going to hit. Even Seattle traveling cross country, you're getting a field goal in this spot. And I think the Seattle defense is still going to be good this year. Sam Darnold didn't look terrible, but he definitely could have looked a lot better. JSN went absolutely nuts. It's going to be a huge year for him. I think he's going to be a matchup nightmare for whoever Pittsburgh decides to throw him. Maybe it's Jalen Ramsey. I think Zach Charbonnet is going to ultimately take over this backfield, but Kenny Walker could still do some things. And I just feel like Seattle's going to find a way here. I don't know if Pittsburgh's defense is the steel curtain of old. Meanwhile, I just feel like this is a prime regression spot. Everybody's going to be hammering the Steelers after what Rodgers did, after the way he played with this offense in week 1. I'm not buying it. I think Pittsburgh laying 3 points in this matchup, even at home, is a little rich, in my opinion. So I'm going with Seattle here for the bounce back. You know I'm high on the Seahawks this year, and I think Sam Darnold and JSN are going to get it going even bigger than they did in week 1. Let's go back to the well here on the Arizona Cardinals. -6.5. They're playing with us a little bit here in week 1. They had a lot of chances to put away New Orleans. Instead, it came down to the wire with New Orleans taking a shot in the end zone to tie it as time expired. Luckily, we hit this cover. Cardinals closed -6.5, and they won by 7. Let's see if they could do it again. They're at home against the Carolina Panthers, who look like an absolute disaster in Jacksonville in week 1. I like what I saw from Arizona for the most part. Defense looks very solid. The offense wasn't insanely efficient, but they did a lot of good things. Maserati Marv looked clean. James Conner looked good. Kyler Murray made good decisions. And I think at home, where they've played a lot better in recent years, against a Carolina team that I got to see them really improve before I start betting them. I'm going to roll with the Arizona Cardinals here in week 2 at home to put a whooping on the Carolina Panthers. Last but not least, let's go down for prime time. Tampa Bay Buccaneers +2.5 at the Houston Texans. I suspect we're going to see some movement here, but to be fair, man, like, I don't think Houston was going to be bad this year, but I wasn't riding high on them. I didn't really have a ton of faith that this is going to be that Super Bowl contending team. I do like their defense a lot, but their offense is really a concern. Like, CJ Stroud has looked nothing like the kid that won Rookie of the Year a couple years ago. Ultimately, what's going to have to happen is the Texans offense is going to have to look like something that's even remotely competent for me to want to bet them. But I'm a big fan of Tampa this year. I really like the Bucs. I know they didn't play a clean game in Atlanta. They got a little lucky that Young Hoku missed a field goal that would have pushed it to OT. And Baker wasn't even necessarily clean. But even in a non-clean game, guy still goes for 3 tutties. Emeka Egbuka, absolute truth. We're all over his player props. Cash the tutty and another one on top of it just for good measure. Hit the over on his yards. Mike Evans didn't even have a monster game, and he's still a guy that's going to be a Hall of Famer and still can play at extremely high level. And I understand the Texans defense is really good. Not exactly expecting a shootout in this one, but I feel like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers offense is going to be able to do more against this Houston defense than the Rams did. I like how they were able to adjust to Atlanta's game plan. Atlanta did pretty well for the most part, stopping the run. I just feel like Tampa's going to get a little bit more creative with some of their patterns and some of their packages. And Bucky Irving out of the backfield is definitely something that I'm going to expect to see here as well. Bucs D's got to tighten up a little bit, but with Houston and that offense just really looking pedestrian, I feel like Tampa goes into Houston on Monday night and gets this win. You could keep the points. I'm taking the money line.